I don't know if you've downloaded Power BI. You're supposed to download Power BI. I told you to download. If you have not, this is the app. This is how it looks. I don't know if I sent you the video, so I'm just going to launch it. To launch it, you just need to double click on it and then it will start launching. Like I told you, Power BI is owned by Microsoft. They own Power BI, okay? I think that's why it's even free. The Power BI desktop is free. So you need to understand. Let me see if I have it in a PowerPoint so that you can see. If I have anything on PowerPoint in Power BI, sorry. So we can follow it gradually. It is owned by Microsoft. Power BI PowerPoint, okay? Okay, it's mostly used for data visualization. Yeah, visualization is more of like presenting your data or your finding in pictures, okay? So data visualization tool, you have the Microsoft Power BI. Let me just recap quickly. We also have the Tableau and then Google Looker. So I'll try to find a project that will cut across these three apps. But the most popular one, the one you're going to be using is Microsoft Power BI, okay? But I'll look for a project that can take us to Looker. Looker is online. This Microsoft Power BI, it has the desktop version and the Power BI service, that is the Power BI Online. So the desktop version is this one that I just launched now, the one you have installed in your desktop. It is absolutely free. You can do everything you need to do there from A to Z without paying anything. You don't need to subscribe. You don't need to buy premium. Everything is 100% free. While the service, when you go to service, you're also going to see everything you've done on your desktop pushed to the service. That is the online version. All right. That is where you can have your workspaces. Workspace is just like in Excel, where you have pages. All right. Those workbooks. In Power BI, it is called workspace. Like creating a new project, creating a new workspace. That's it. But now, when you come to Power BI service, you need, for you to be able to do a lot of things, then you need to buy premium. You need to pay subscription for you to access so many features, like sharing your work with your colleague or sharing it for someone else to, have access to it and all of that. You need to subscribe to the premium using a work email. All right. That's why most of the people that use this service, Power BI service, are organizations, big organizations. So if you're working for a company, the company is going to have that premium Power BI already paid for. So they are just going to give you your own login. Something will create a work email for you, then give you your own login. You'll be able to log in and then use it. Okay. Yeah, that's how it works. So, but as an individual, I don't see the reason why you want to pay for Power BI since you really don't have much project or anything except maybe your I don't know. There are some few reasons that may warrant you having to subscribe. So, but if you work for a company, they will do the subscription and give you. All right. Then the next one, variables. So let's talk about this thing. This thing. I don't want to go deep into this thing, not to. But then we have variables. Okay, you remember data type, right? The one we did in Excel. It is the same thing here in Power BI. You have the data type. You have, make sure you know this thing, data types. You have you have the text, right? You have the numbers, you have the dates and all of that. Just the same way you have them in Excel is the same thing in Power BI. Just take note of that. So we want to talk about variable. Let's choose so Variable is like you need to understand the type of data you have. You must have to know the type of data, just like I said, data types. Now, there are rules to cleaning data. I think we mentioned all of this also in Excel that, each of the data must form a column and all of that. So, um, a column is referred to a variable and it correctly decide, okay, and correctly decide the appropriate chart type to use to convey information. You must decide first what type of variable a column is. So this generally is talking about data type. Each column have a data type that is inside, right? So if it is supposed to contain names, the data type in that column is what? Text. It is supposed to contain countries. That data type is what? Text. If it is supposed to contain dates, the date the transaction occurred, that data type is what? Date. If it is supposed to contain numbers, that data type is what? Numbers. All right. There may be other kind of data type, but these are the popular ones should be meeting. Now, this is something that I want to point out. There are basically two type of variables. When it comes to variables, we have the quantitative variables and the qualitative variables, okay? I'm supposed to create an Excel, supposed to use Excel to explain this thing. But then, maybe you shouldn't worry about this. Let me see. Let me see if I can use Excel to explain it. But that will waste our time. So it's just saying that there are qualitative variables and there are quantitative variables. That's categorical variables, okay? Let me see. Visual encoding. Okay. So I think this one we've talked about it. This visual encoding is simply using using dots, plots, using plots to show position. Let me see if I can explain that to you on Excel. So let's talk about let's say we have a name. We have this once this column is names, then this column is age, then this column is date, then this column can be hmm, okay, let me use this one as serial number. Serial number, no. Let's use it as student ID. Student ID. So if the student ID is 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Okay, let's just make do with this. James, Janet, and Grace. Age is 49, 30, 36, 23. So dates can be, let's say, first, or let's say 21st of January 2026. Okay, so I'm trying to explain quantitative and qualitative calling, quantitative variables, and then categorical qualitative, also known as categorical. So this is not really, it doesn't really require explanation, but I just want to point it out so that you have it in mind that for quantitative variables here, quantitative means you can quantify it. You can quantify this thing. Um, like quantify numbers. You can count it. Um, so you can count, you can add, you can do a lot of things. Like if you check the category, this particular column now contains a data type, which is what this is called. This is actually not numbers. You will not classify, but if you move this to Power BI, it will classify it as numbers because these are numbers, right? But a platform like SQL will not classify it as numbers. It will classify it as varchar. Varchar, yeah. It's classified as variable characters. All right. Now, for quantitative variables, these are variables, okay? So for each column must contain the same variable like we already established. And each of these variable means a data type. So the data type here is going to be seen as numbers in Power BI, but in SQL, it is going to be seen as what? A variable, varchar. Then for name, sorry, let me get water. For name, you have what's the data type for name? Someone should type it for me. Data type for name. What's the data type for this name? Sorry, what's the data type for name? That column contains that column contains yeah, variables. The variables there are names of students, and the data type is. Say someone said you didn't send us the video. Oh, that's true. Okay, so text is correct. So the data type here is text. Hmm? Now for age, what's the data type here? Numbers. So for quantitative means you can quantify. I cannot quantify this one because I cannot add these things because they are not numbers. In fact, some some ID will even have maybe letter like this. So students, see, S10, maybe if I was giving student ID for you guys, so our student ID would have been maybe Data Africa DA. So your this thing will start from DA, Data Africa 001, your students 00 something, something like this. So you cannot quantify this one. You cannot add them. You can't add to this student with this student with this student ID with this student ID. So it's not quantitative. You can't quantify it. Then for names, you cannot quantify names. Then for age, of course, you can quantify age. You can add up all these things and say, okay, this is the number, total age of the students here. Maybe you have something else, you can have something else that you can quantify. All right, but for qualitative or categorical, it means you can categorize them, but you cannot add them, you cannot count. Now you may be able to categorize this one, but it's actually impossible because you cannot have two students that have uh the same reg number, right? So you can categorize them. Like there's a way they do this thing in graph, histogram. There's a way they plot it in histogram. You can say, let's say, even for the age is quantitative, right? Because you can count, you can add, but you cannot categorize. You can also categorize this one, this age. You can say, okay, people that are from 30 to 50, 30 to 40, or 30 to 35. Then people from 35 to 40, then from 40 to 45, and so on. So this is, you have categorized them. Everybody, someone that is 30, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33 will fall under this category. If you were creating a histogram, it would be like this. Then this edge here will be 30. This edge here will be 35. So everybody within this place will be under this category. So you can categorize this one. The same thing with dates. You can decide to categorize all the sales that were made on the first, because if you open the sales sheet, you're going to see a lot of sales that happened on the first. So you can categorize all the sales that happened on the first, all the sales that happened on the second and all that. So this is not really necessary, but I'm just trying, I don't know, maybe while working, we are going to encounter, like explain it better. I don't even know why I added this to this PowerPoint because it's kind of useless. So this one is just talking about the data type. You know, I mentioned in this visual encoding, it is easier to mark a point with maybe a plot. If I want to plot something now, plot this against this, right? So if I'm plotting this against this, the point where they meet, and I can use maybe a dot, a star, or something to mark it to know that this is where they meet. And I can say, okay, this is maybe I'm plotting age against name. I can put the name here. No, I can put the name here and put the age in the vertical so that we can say, okay, these students, how do we know the age of these students? If I put the age here, maybe let's say I put the age, the student Jude, the student James, the student Janet, and the student Chris, and I put their age. Maybe here we can start from now. When you're plotting, you have to be even. So you cannot say because the lowest one here is 23, I'll come and put 23 here. It has to be, if you are putting it by 10, 10. So it has to be 10 here. It has to be 20 here. It has to be 30 here. It has to be 40 here. It has to be 50 here, and so on. So there cannot be a plot that if you want to know the age of Jude, this Jude is 39, 49, right? So you now know that the plot is going to be somewhere around this 49 here, somewhere around here. So you put the point somewhere in between this place. So you can trace it. That point there is that visual encoding. You encode it. You can encode it with color. You can encode it with dash. You can encode it with star. It's just for you to spot it. But all these things are really gibberish. I don't see the need universal. Don't worry about all of this. Let's go to the real thing, the practical thing. Multivariate variable. These are just different kind of variables. It's not really necessary. I think this is another part where I want to talk on chat junk and data integrity. It's very important, but I can see that many of you are confused because you don't even know what we're talking about. So let's go back to to Power BI, which is the main thing. So maybe when we start, you'll be able to understand. I was able to walk you through the interface the other day. I don't know if you still remember, but let me do that again. So when you launch, sorry, let me not even jump. Who have downloaded Power BI? Have you downloaded Power BI, please? Let me hear you. Have you downloaded it? Who has Power BI downloaded? Nobody. Are you sure you're ready for this Power BI? Are you sure you guys are ready? Oh, okay, okay, great. Okay, some people have downloaded it. So, but if you've not, go to Google. Is it Google or Google? Google. I think it's Google. Then Nigeria call it Google, but we both will call it Google. Just come here, download Power BI, type download Power BI. As easy as that. You can see it's owned by Microsoft. Just click on any one, this first one. You can also see this one, sign up micro BI. But this one is going to take you to the Power BI service, as you can see. Okay, you can also download it from that place. So, because I can see app. If you see app, it means you can download. So you can see download center. This is the Power BI community download center. Make sure you leave it in English, then click on download. All right, then you start downloading. I think I did a video on this thing. Did I send the video? Maybe I'll resend it. System requirements. It has to be Windows 10, 11 or above. Microsoft Power BI and all that. Download instruction. So I will send the video to the group tonight or tomorrow. So you can follow a step-by-step guide and download it. It's very simple as just hitting this download button here, and then you have it downloaded. So once you download it, after downloading, you're going to come here. It will bring you here. All right. So when it brings you here, you're going to see this interface. Select down here is the data, how you bring in your data. These are different ways that you can bring in data. You can bring in blank sheet. You can start from a blank sheet. It will just launch you into the page. One link catalog, Excel. You can even bring in Excel work. You can bring in from SQL and all these sources. So this place is going to show you all the ones you've worked on your recent project, just like it is in Excel. Then here in open, it's going to open the files. If you already have files like Excel or CSV files in your laptop, it's just going to go there. This one take you to your laptop to go and select the file that you want to import into this Power BI. And then we'll come back to this one much later. I'll show you what this option and setting does, how to set up your Power BI to do whatever you want it to do. Though by default, it already has the settings you need. So you don't really need to tamper anything, but I'm still going to show you. Then here on the top, you can see my name because I'm signed in. Now you don't even need to sign in. You don't even need to sign up. You don't need to have an account to do everything you want to do as long as you are on this Power BI desktop. It is when you want to now go to online version, the Power BI service, that's when you're required to sign up, which means I've signed up on the SQL service, sorry, the Power BI service. That's why I am signed in automatically, okay? But don't worry about that. Just don't sign up anything. So most of the times you're going to be clicking on this blank report to bring you to this Power BI interface. This is where the magic happens. This is where everything happens. All right. So just like your Excel, these are all the tabs. These are all the ribbons. Yeah, that you're going to be using. So there's no need to explain anything here. When we start using it, you will appreciate them one by one because you'll be using them one by one. So you can see there are the different things you'll be using to do different things here. Insert for your design model view. But what I would like to point out is this part. This is where we are now, which is the report view where you are going to be working here. This is your page. So just like that, your Excel worksheets and your workbook. This is it. Then you have the pages. You can have as many pages as just like Excel sheets. You can have as many sheets as you want. Um, then here is the table view. Now, when you start importing tables, we're going to be seeing those tables here. Then this model view is going to talk about table connection, table relationship. We'll still get to that. It's a full topic on its own. You know how these tables are connected and why they are connected the way they are connected. Because if you have several tables, if they are not connected, there's no way you can work with them in Power BI. I can't do anything. Your tables must be connected perfectly and appropriately before they can give you what you want, right? So we're going to get to that. Then this part, now there are different parts here. This part, I've explained it. This is your workspace. Then this next one is your filter. If you expand it, let me expand this, you can see. This is your filter, like where you used to have top N. If you want to, apply filter to your data sets, this is where you do that. Then the visual, this visual is where the whole magic, this is the powerhouse of Power BI. This is everything about Power BI, okay? These are all the different charts that you're going to be using. You have this bar charts, you have the column and the the bar chart and the column charts. You have the line charts, you have the scattered plots, the pie chart and the donut chart, you remember? Then this one, card, you also have card. We're going to start using it shortly. And then you have all of this. You can even bring in more. You can see this is the Power Automate. This one wasn't here before. I am the one that brought it in. So if you click on these three dots, you can see get more visual. So if there's any kind of visual that you don't have here already, you can bring it in from this part. You can see, you can bring in more. You can even remove anyone that you don't like. This is for map. If you're plotting geographical data, they call it GIS. If you're plotting that, they're going to use map. There's also this one, the field map. There's Azure map. There are so many things that you can use um, to work. All right. Then I think that's pretty much it. Then here, let me expand it as well. Here is when you import your data sets, this is where it comes to stay. This is where it comes to stay, right? So this is where it comes to stay. And that is all about the interface of Power BI. Now, let's go ahead and import data set and then start working with it. We may not be able to actually design our first dashboard today, but we can go as far as we can. I wouldn't want to be taking you guys beyond the time because the last time we tried it, someone said they slept off. So this means that we have just 1 hour left. So let's import data. So to import data, you're going to click here. Now, before you import data, you need to know something about data cleaning. That's something we call Power, what is it called again? Power BI. This is Power BI. There's something, I've forgotten the name. The one in charge of the data cleaning, Power something. Okay, let's just proceed. We're going to get there. It is in
Power
this,
Query.
what?
Power Query.
Power Query, exact. Thank you very much. Power Query. So the Power Query is a tool inside this Power BI that helps you do your data cleaning. Whatever you want to do, if you want to merge table, if you want to separate tables, if you want to adjust numbers, if you want to add, whatever you want to do, you cannot do anything in this Power BI. All right. Once you bring in your data here, the only thing you can do is just to start analyzing. You can even do some DAX, you can even write some functions and all that. But you cannot tamper that data. You cannot delete, you cannot increase, you cannot reduce, you cannot add, you cannot do anything. If you have to make any changes in your data set, you have to take it back to Power Query. So Power Query is the one that gives you that power to work on your data, clean data. That's why you talk about data cleaning. I don't know if we should. I think I'm just bringing in so many concepts that are supposed to be separate topics because we're supposed to do power cleaning separately. So, but what we're supposed to do is just to bring in data and see how these things work. Okay, so you're going to click here. Since the data set we're going to work on is in our laptop, right? So I'm just going to click here to get data. It will give you several options, just like you had it before in the other page. So these are the different, if you have CSV files. So you need to know the type of file you're bringing in first before you go and bring it. If it's a CSV file, if it's an Excel file, if it's an SQL file or any kind of file. So let's go and check. I don't know. Um, let's go and check the type of file that we are going to be using. Let's see. I think it's going to be um, cookies. Let's use these cookies. So this is going to be cookies type. So what kind of data set is this? Is it Excel file or CSV file? Take a look at these three files. Are they CSV files or Excel file? Someone can reply me, please.
Excel.
Good. What makes it Excel? Why do you think it's Excel? Is it because of the Excel logo you're seeing by the side?
Aside that, the file type there, I'm seeing Excel, Microsoft Excel, Word, W, whatever there.
Exactly. So the extension can see XLSX. Once you see XLXS, it is Excel file. If you see PDF, it's a PDF file. If you see CSV extension, that is dot C, the name of that file, dot this extension. If you see dot CSV, then it's a CSV file. If you see dot W, that word, I think word is W something, then it's a Word file. Once you click on it, it will automatically call the software that is in charge of opening that kind of file. It will open the file for you. Though Excel opens both Excel file and CSV file, right? But in this case, this is Excel file. So if we go back to Power BI, then we're going to use Excel, this first one, Excel. You can even click it directly there. Then it will bring it to your desktop where you can now search. I think you see a cookie. So let's see, we can not even pick the three at the same time. Let me see. We cannot import the three at the same time. So we'll pick it one by one. Then I'll click on the first one and open. It will start bringing it in. It is not, start going to connect. Now, a lot of things will be happening behind the scene. It is going to check the data type. It is going to check each of the columns. It's going to check a whole lot of things before bringing it in here for us. Do you get? It's going to check so many things, check what kind of data type, check any depth if all the data is clean, check each column, check each line by line before it brings it here. In fact, if you bring more tables in, each table you're bringing is going to check how that table is related to the previous table you brought in. It's going to try to connect them before they now bring it in and all that. So, but the good thing about Power BI is that it doesn't just import directly into Power BI, just like SQL. SQL will import that file directly into SQL, but now it will first pop up this navigator to ask you if you want to transform the data first. So, and another thing it does is it will look at what it does. It will bring in the file in two different type. It will bring in the file, I think it's in Excel file and CSV file. But generally, it will bring it in as a this is a heavier file, then this is a lighter file. So this heavier one now has so many things. It has both that Excel calibration, Excel, those formatting and all that. That's why you can see table here. Then it will also bring it as not just normal file. This one is lesser. If this one is, let's say this one is 200 kilobytes, let's know how many. Let me check. Hold on. I think I may have to cancel. Let's go and check the size of that file. So this one that we brought in now, see the size. This is 10.5 kilobytes. This one is 94 kilobytes. And this one is 42.6 kilobyte, right? So, but what is going to happen here is, let's bring it in. I want to bring in a Excel file. So this one, that is 10.5 kilobytes. So it is going to bring it in into two different files for you to choose which one you want to work with. So this one is 10.5 kilobytes. This one is going to be reduced to like 4.5 or even 5 kilobytes to reduce it because this one has all the formats, all the Excel formats. I don't know if you know what is Excel formats. Where is that file? Let me open it to show you. Let me open this cookies type. When you double tap, it's going to open in Excel, right? So this is the format. Can you see the formatting? It has table, it has colors, it has this table, column. See all the column. It has this filter tab, you can filter it. All of these things are called formatting. It has all of this formatting, even this dollar sign. All these things are formatting, the table formats and all that. So that other one, that first one now will have it. Where is our this thing? So this one will have all of those formats. So it's going to be heavier. You can see when I click on it, look at it. But this other one is not going to have it. This one, that's why it is lighter. So most times when you are loading your data, you're going to load this second one that is just a file. The reason is because Power BI already by default is a table. You see this place I showed you, this table here is already a table. So there's no need bringing a table inside a table. Do you get? Power BI already, any file you bring into Power BI is automatically going to form a table, is automatically a table already. Power BI translates everything to table before displaying it. So you don't even need to bring in your own table. All right. Secondly, is that this is going to make your work heavier. If you bring in this one, it's going to be heavy. It's going to make your file heavier. You're downloading your whatever you're uploading is going to take more space. Imagine if your company is paying for space. So it's going to make your work heavier. Imagine if you're working on a larger file, very, very large file. It's going to take a whole lot of time to load, making you slower, making your output much slower than someone that is using this one. So there are other reasons anyway, but most people will go for this one that is a file. It simplifies everything, it makes the work lesser. Okay, so we'll take this one. Now, we can now review, we can preview the table. This is the content of this file that we just uploaded. Now, if you come down here, you're going to see three options. The first one is load, the second one is transform data, and the third one is cancel. Let me start with the cancel. Cancel means you saw me click on cancel when I wanted to go back, right? It means I want to abort mission. I don't want to continue. I click on cancel and everything goes off. For me to come back, I need to go and import the data again, right? Now, the data is imported, but it's not yet inside Power BI. It is still somewhere hanging because Power BI does not want you to bring anything dirty into it. It wants you to clean your data first before bringing it. Since we already know that we cannot do anything once it gets into Power BI. So whatever we need to do it outside here first before bringing it in. All right. So the second one, the third one, let me jump this one. The third one is load. If I click on load, it's going to automatically push the data into Power BI. However it is, whether clean or not, it will bring it into Power BI, and which is wrong. Always make sure you clean your data first before bringing it into Power BI. So on no account should you click on load, except if you are sure that your data is clean. You've cleaned it somewhere else, maybe on Excel or somewhere, you're sure that the data is up to date and 100% clean, then you can load straight up. Or if it's a data you're already working on, and then for some reason you just have to, bring it into Power Query and Power BI, then you want to use on load straight up. You just load it straight, okay? So, but in most cases, if you're not sure, maybe if it's a data set that was just given to you, you've not even gone through it, then you definitely want to use transform. So this transform, once you click on transform, it is going to automatically call up Power Query to come and do its job. Transform will help you to call up Power Query to come and start its job. Power Query is a different software in Power BI, inside of Power BI. Because since Power BI cannot clean, so Power Query does the cleaning. Power Query is actually a very heavy file. Excel has it also. Excel has this Power Query, but Excel Power Query is, you can't use it. You can use it, sha, but it makes Excel slow. It's not really efficient, but it's exactly the same thing the way it is in this Power BI. But Excel now, it has limitations and all that. If you begin to use it, it will make your Excel slow and sluggish. So I'm going to click on transform data, right? So click on transform data. Then we'll wait It's now calling up Power Query. You can see Power Query editor here, right? So this untitled means we did not title our file before bringing it in. We can actually change the name anytime, but no problem. So it's Power Query. Here is the Power Query. Here is the Power Query. Now, Power Query has different tabs and ribbon. This is not Power BI, remember. This is now Power Query. But it has similar tabs just like Power BI, but it's different. Their own distance is different. In the home, you have new source. You can bring in new file. You can, check out all of these things. Data source setting, manage parameter, remove column. You can do a whole lot of things. Remember, a lot of things you cannot do in Power BI. You can remove the column. You can split column, you can group by, you can do so many things here to this data. Transform, if you click on the transform tab, you have so many set of different, in fact, you can even add column, you can even do some coding here as well, and all that you can do. This place gives you the power to code to this place. We'll get to that anyway. Let's not rush it. But you can do some kind of Python coding, normal coding. We'll call it DAX in Power BI, okay? Like you can create something else that's not existing. Like you can add new columns, like new columns. You can add new rows. You can do a whole lot of things, okay? Now, we're not doing data cleaning today yet, but just to point out certain things, okay? Now, if you look at this query setting, this is another powerful, very powerful aspect of Power Query that you must take note of. Properties, this is the name of the file that you brought in, cookies type, look at it. Now, apply step is one part of this Power Query that you must pay attention to. This apply step by default, you don't need to do anything. By default, records every single step you take here. It records it. In our Excel, if I mistakenly type anything, I can easily do Control Z, right? I can do Control Z to undo whatever I've done. I can do Control Y to redo whatever I've undone, right? But in Power Query, it doesn't have Control Z. Control Z doesn't work. This is the Control Z, this apply step. Every single step you take, it records it. Now, the first step was source. Remember, we imported the data, right? That's the source. It brought it from source. The second step is navigate. We navigated from Power BI to Power Query, which is where we are now. Then promoted header. Promoted header means, you remember in Excel, right? That whenever you are doing anything in Excel, remember, look at this one. When I was creating this table, I had to put a header. This is the heading, this is the heading, this is the heading. So it means that whatever table you're working on, by default, the first column is usually what? The heading of that column. This is the heading of this column. This is the heading of this column. So Excel here, if you're counting, if you're typing anything here, this first column contains the heading. Where is the other file? Look at this file. You can see this first column contains the heading of the columns, right? This is the heading of this column, the heading here, you need so. So whatever this column says is what is going to be contained inside the column. This one says revenue per cookie, means everything here are different revenue generated. This one says cost per cookie. So everything is the cost of those cookies, right? Then this one says cookie type. So this is going to be the different type of cookies. So automatically, this first column contains the header of the columns. It is the same thing here in Power BI. Power BI doesn't need you to tell it. It already automatically knows that the first column is going to. So if you create your table and you did not make the first row your column, then you're making a mistake, because Power BI does not need permission from you to automatically make that first row your column headers. So it makes this first row the head, the name of the column, the head of the column, the headers. That's what this promoted. So once you bring in data, it automatically promotes the first column for you to become the header, the heading of each of the column. Do you get? Please, are you understanding us? Some people are leaving the class. I don't know why. It's not up to 1 hour yet now. Why are people no longer patient in this life? They just want to run away.
So we are hearing you.
Okay, good. Good. So now it has promoted the first header as the table column headers. That's what this one says. Then change data type. So data type is what we are going to talk about now. If you check each of these columns, like we rightly mentioned, have their data type. So you need to, part of your data cleaning, the number one step of your data cleaning is to confirm, to make sure you're confirming the data type. So this one changed the data type automatically. Remember this file in Excel. See this file in Excel. This one has dollar. Can you see this revenue? It has dollar. Excel recognizes dollar, but there's no dollar in Power BI. There's no dollar in SQL. If you check the file here now, it doesn't have that dollar sign. So as long as it doesn't have that dollar sign, because if it comes in with the dollar sign, it is going to automatically change the data type. Remember, data type, when you have a number is what number data type. When you have text is what a text data type. Now, when you have number and text together, if you bring this thing now to Power BI, it's going to see this as a character and a number. So it is no longer, it's not going to call it a number, it's not going to call it text. So what it will call it is text. Once there's any letter or character added to a number, Power BI sees it as a text. It will classify it as a text. And to avoid that, it just removed the dollar sign and then so that I can maintain it as a number, right? So that's it. So, but then there's also what we call not double. There's something we call double. Double are the ones that have decimal places, those decimal places. So this is a number. Everything here is a number because you know that Power BI will go through this line, this table line by line, each line, check out what number is. So it gave this one a straight number because everything here is number. But here, when it was checking this one, it checked this one and saw number. Here it saw decimal place. So it cannot be the same data type. All right. So because of that, it will now give this one a different data type. That's what it did here. All right. So let's not do data cleaning today so that I don't bore you. So I'm just going to leave this one, even though we still need to clean it because it's not clean. Let's not clean it anyway. Let's just take it the way it is so that we can bring the other two tables and see other things. So I'm going to, this is not clean. We are still going to come back to this in our next class and clean it up. So now I want to now move it to Power BI. Maybe I finish my cleaning and then I'm okay with it. Then I'm going to push it into Power BI. To do that, I'm going to come here that says close and apply. If you open the options, you're going to see three options. If you close, it's going to close. You can see there are pending changes in your data. So obviously, I shouldn't have closed it, but I've just closed it. So I'm going to just discard it. Discard. That was a mistake. I was not supposed to close it. Let me bring it back. So this time around, I'm just going to load it, or let's not load it. I'll select this one, transform. So it's here. So I'm going to come here, look at the options. I don't want to close it. Apply means all of those changes you've done after cleaning your data, you want to apply it. You just apply. But once you apply, it's going to still remain here because you've not told it to close. So, but if you say close and apply, it means it is going to close and then take you to Power Query. Look at, sorry, Power BI. So all of those changes, can I just apply? Let me apply it, apply changes. Then you can see it's now loading, it's now applying all the changes. It's going to take a while. Synchronizing schema is taking time to check if there are other tables. You can see here, look at this point. It's also taking time to, connect to other tables if there are other tables, do a lot of background checks, and once it's done, it's counting the total number of rows and all that. Once it's done, it's going to now look at it. It has appeared here, data. Look at the table and look at all the columns, complete, right? So if you come to this table, you can now see that we have one table, which is this one. You can see it. If you come to schema, we have only just one table here. So there's no connection, no need for any connection, right? Sorry. So let's bring in the second table, customers table. So it's going to take a while. Then I'm going to choose this one. Got the table here. I'll have to come here to clean it up. I'll come here, so I'll assume that I'm done cleaning, everything is okay, and then I'll go to close and apply. Then I'll apply the changes. It will do all the background job again, then bring it here. You can see customer has brought in the customers table. You can see all of the tables, right? You can see all the tables, all the columns. Now let's go again. We now have two tables here. This is the customers table, and this is the what? The cookies type. So let's check the schema, the model view. We now have two tables, but yet there's no connection. They don't have any connection yet. I don't know why. Maybe from my setting, maybe I disabled it, but I'm going to, let's see. If you come to file, then you can see this option and setting. If you click on option and setting, you click on options. So now take you to the setting of this Power BI, how the whole setup work, how everything works, the setting and all that. So you can see Power Query Editor, data load. In this data load, you can see data type detection is active. Always detect column type and header for unstructured source. Detect column type and header for unstructured source according to each file size. So this is what helps you to check the data type. Background data, allow data preview, so it will check all of these things. Then if we go down, auto dates, these are all the settings. Okay. This one handles all the loading. Let's see for direct query, Python scripting, privacy, region. This one has to do with country, usage data, preview features, save and recovery, report setting. Look at the report setting here. Display smart guide, align the page, show home screen. Then let's keep going. Data load. This is the data load now. The text column type and header for. So import relationship. Look at it. My own is turned on. Import relationships from data source on first load. So whenever it's loading a table, it will check the relationship with that thing. If I turn it off, it will no longer be able to do that. So you can see a lot of settings you can do here, privacy, auto recovery, and all of this. This is it. So let's bring the last one. I'll come here, bring in the last one. I want to use the file. Then this table is bigger, you can see all the table preview. Let me see if I can transform. I click on transform data first. So that I'll be able to clean the data before pushing it to Power BI. So I assume now that I've finished cleaning, everything is okay. Then I'll click on load, close, and apply. Apply changes. Then it start loading. That's counted the total number of rows, everything is here. Look at it. Order. cost. So this is the three tables that we had in Excel. Is now here in our Power BI, three of them. And let's look at the model view. So this is the model view that's automatically detected the connection. So you can see these two tables are connected. So these two has no connection, nothing in common. So maybe in a subsequent class, we're going to see why and how, reasons why, there are actually connection, but there's a reason why it did not detect it. And we can now manually detect it by ourselves. So we can say this one and this one. So we can actually move this thing. Let's put this one here. And then we can connect these two. Let's connect these two. See if we can create connection. Yes, we can create connection. So we've created the connection. They are now connected. All the tables are now connected. But don't worry about it. I'll still show you how to do all of these things, both manually and all that. So our three tables are connected. Everything is perfect. We can now start analyzing this data set. Okay? All right. And that is it. I think that's how far we can go today. Import your data, do all of the cleaning. So by next class, we're going to do data cleaning. We're going to clean these data. We're also going to look at the connection, how that table is connected, model view, or the schema. Then we're now going to start designing our dashboard, okay? We're going to start designing our dashboard. So I don't want to take you too far so that you don't get confused. Let's take it gradually. We'll just have like 3 or 4 classes in Excel, and we're doing our project already. Sorry, in Power BI, and we are doing our project already and moving ahead, okay? All right.
All right, sir.
I'd like to know if there's a question, so we can take questions and just continue enjoying our Sunday at home. As for the downloading, I believe most of you should download this app. This is what we're going to be using. I'll look for a video on how to, for those of you that will not be able to navigate through that downloading process, but it's quite simple. You just click on that download button, it downloads into your system, and that's it. There's no complicated settings, and it's SQL that I know that has a lot of complexity that you need to, follow the guide. All right. So do we have questions? So we can just got your questions regarding this class, regarding your project you're currently working on, and all that. Okay, please unmute. Rahim, what's the problem you're having with the project? Okay, negative values. All right. I'll take a look at it. But that shouldn't affect you now. That shouldn't affect you. You should be able to still, come up with your results.